Hi everyone. Yeah, it's the dark vehicle again, and I thought about maybe trying to edit, or not trying, but editing the lighting in my editing software. But a lot of times what happens is it will lighten it up and brighten it up. But what happens is then you have a problem where it looks really weird, and it almost looks like it takes away the high definition and it almost looks wrinkled. But at any rate, you know that well, maybe you don't know, but I have a little bit of an eye infection and my eyes bother me. And even though it's really dark out here, in order to shoot this, I have to have the light and it hurts my eyes. So I'm going to put the shades on. But before I do, today I want to tell you about a real life events concerning Davy Jones from the Monkees fame, and of course other wonderful things. He had a solo career and other, films and what have you. But I got to meet Davy Jones, and that's what we're going to talk about. And for those of you who don't like a long-winded video, the only thing I can say is I'm going to give testimonial. It could be 1 minute, but I am not putting a time limit on it, and I'm not editing it. So you're either going to watch it or you're not, but I'm sorry. I am not going to placate to anybody anymore, including me. With that, we're going to talk about Davy Jones. Now, I upload videos on YouTube, as most of you know, almost daily, sometimes hourly. Well, I just happened to be on YouTube one night and started thinking about some of the Monkees songs. And sure enough, matter of fact, that's not accurate. I was looking in my watched or watch later videos. That's what it was, watch later. And I came across Peter Tork, not whatever, I just said Tork, mentions and speaks about Davy Jones' death. So ultimately, that eventually led to Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz singing some of the Monkee songs in tribute to Davy. And I found myself still, even though it's been a few years, having tears in my eyes. And I know it seems kind of odd, but I miss the guy. I never thought I'd be saying that, actually. No offense to him or his spirit. But I was not, for most of my life, a Davy Jones fan. I liked the Monkees. I thought they were cool and funny at times. But I was a Mickey Dolenz fan. Mickey was my favorite. He cracked me up. Davy, I liked him, but it was Mickey that I liked the best. Well, now comes true life events. Annette used to belong to, I think it's called Monkey Fancy, which was a club that people used to like the Monkees. And of course, the Monkees became popular again late in, the 90s or what have you. Well,
80s.
The 80s and the 90s, I think, a little bit. But at any rate, and she's right, the 80s. Ultimately, up there around Penn State in the state of Pennsylvania in the United States, and it's also called State College, ultimately, Davy Jones was signing a book. And I think, I could be wrong, but it seemed like
They made a monkey out of me.
I was going to say that, but all right, she's stealing my thunder. I don't have
Sorry.
thunder. That's okay. They made a monkey out of me. And I was like, wow. Annette used to have this big crush on Davy. She was really into it, even though it was like 20-some years later. She was in love with an older guy. There was a younger guy when she seen him, but never mind. It's all right. Davy was cool. But at any rate, we go. And I got to tell you, the weirdest thing happens. I happened to see Davy Jones driving a regular, normal car as a regular human being. No chauffeurs, none of that stuff. Driving his regular rental car. And ultimately, I don't remember exactly how, but I catch up with him and I say, Mr. Jones, or something to that effect, can I get your autograph? Well, I didn't have anything, so I ended up getting a dollar bill signed by Davy Jones. And I tell you, I'm not thrilled with myself. I can't find the dollar or any of the proof. Even I think the book is now destroyed or something. But I can't find any actual proof of this ever happening. I think someday I will, but right now I haven't. But anyway, he signs this dollar bill. And I'm like, this guy's kind of cool. So then, later in the day, he's doing this big thing, and there's, I don't know, a couple hundred women and some guys, and I like the guy. You know, I thought it was a funny thing. There's guys like me, other guys. And so we go up, we're over there, we're getting ready to shake his hand. The guys, obviously, you know, the women want to be huggy-duggy, you know. So we're shaking his hand or what have you. So I wanted to take a picture with him. And back in the day, they weren't selfies. They were actual pictures that you had to use a camera, or, you know, but hey, it is what it is. I'm glad selfies exist to an extent, but that's another video. Anyway, so what happened was they had obviously had, let me take these up. There you go, just to make sure you don't think I'm doing it to be tough guy or ignorant. But my eyes do hurt. Anyway, they had this, I guess he was an assistant, he or she, I don't really frankly remember. We get up there, I shake Davy Jones's hand, and you know how you kind of pose. You all know that. We're in our pose, and all of a sudden, the person didn't know how to do the camera and take the picture. I don't understand it, but oh my goodness! So we're there shaking hands, and I don't remember what Davey and I said, but all of a sudden, it looked like we were doing a freaking skit. And meanwhile, these women are about ready to kick my you-know-what. And I must have been up there for, I don't know, 2 to 5 minutes. And finally, the picture gets done. And I tell you what, some of the women and the people were laughing because they thought it was an impromptu skit. It was that funny. And I ain't saying that because I'm biased. But it wasn't funny, the looks I got from these women, including Annette. She's like, I don't know. Actually, I'll tell you what. She was like, I don't know why you had to have all that time. I'm a woman, damn it. Or something like that effect. So at any rate, I had, oh my goodness, like I said, 2 to 5 minutes. Guy was really cool. So then a few years later, he was performing again. And he was performing at the time, I think it might have been called the Star Lake, Coca-Cola Star Lake Amphitheater. And it was like Bobby Sherman or some other guy, 2 other famous people from the 60s, the 50s and the 60s. And at one point, they said that nobody can have any more autographs because we were in line. There was a big line. And so they said, I'm sorry, but we can't sign any more autographs. Not Davy and the Bobby Sherman, whoever it was. I think it was Rydell. I really don't remember. I apologize, but I don't. And again, I don't have the freaking pictures of it. So at any rate, we're told, well, we're sorry, but you can't go. And there was this woman that was probably well-to-do. And I said to her, if you will follow me, don't ask me why. Don't even ask me what made me think that I could do this. But I just did. I said, well, I'm going to see if I could get in to shake Davy's hand and, say hi to him, basically, see him again. Just to say hi and actually thank him for putting up with what happened back when it happened at State College. And so I said, if you follow me, we'll probably get a chance to see him. Well, this woman looked at me, and a lot of people judged me. And she's like, nah, rather rude. She was like, I don't think so. I'll take my chances. Some ignorant thing. And so, ignorant words. So I said, okay. I'm thinking, okay, that's on you. Tried to get other people to follow me. They didn't listen. This might be a moral to the story, and I didn't even think about that at the time, honestly. All right, I'm going to have to take these glasses off. I'm sorry, I apologize, but things happen on video that sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So this woman says to me, in a very nasty way, I'm going to take my chances, something to that effect. I was like, well, you're making a mistake. Now, I had no way of knowing, but I just had a feeling. So I go down, I find another way to get in there. And sure enough, I get there and there's, the people, this is security. And I swear to you, and I swear, right hand up to God, I don't know if he recognized me from what had happened or he was just a nice guy. I think it was a little bit of both. For whatever reason, he sees me and he says, let him through. Sure enough, I shake his hand again. I said, man, you're a good guy. I like you, David. Whatever I said. And we talked for 30 seconds or whatever. Then, something astounding to me, he gets up and introduces me to the other two famous people there. And I'm like, okay, thank you, Davy. But I'm thinking in my back of my mind, this all was only about 2 or 3 minutes, but he actually introduced me to, some very famous people. And I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty dang cool. And so I do my little 2-minute, whatever it was, 3 minutes thing. I leave. And I just happen to have to go by that group again because that's where my vehicle was toward that way. And I see her. And by then I had, a picture or something, or I was smiling. I really, it's been a while, so I don't remember. And that mean woman, or attitude woman, looks at me and she says, how did you get through? Now, I'm a smart ass at times. Excuse my language. If you tick me off, I'm a smart ass. I'm an Eddie Murphy raw, delirious kind of guy. I will tell you what time it is. I keep things quiet and polite for the most part on these videos. But you just don't know where I could go. So she's really nasty. She's like, how did you get in there? We couldn't get in. How did you get in? She said the second time. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. I said this with I don't know if I had a mean attitude or not, but I looked at her dead in the eye and said, I walked. I just said, I walked. And she looked at me, and that woman wanted to whoop my ass through. That's all I said. I didn't get nasty, but I was like, I walked. She looked at me like, you son of a, you know what? And there were some people around her, and she got some dirty looks from them. They're probably thinking, you should have listened to the guy, you idiot. But they give her some looks. But I guess there's some morals in the stories even in that. One is, you need to trust people, whether they look the part or not. Don't judge people by the way they look. I ain't going to do a long-winded, moralistic video, but she learned a lesson the hard way. And it wasn't even set to do that. It wasn't me. It was, let's just say, an intervention from the cosmic universe, or maybe G.O.D. himself, or herself, whatever you believe. God might have just said, well, I love her, but she needs to wake up. At any rate, so that happened, and I said to myself, wow, this is amazing that he did that. And when it really hit me, I was driving home, started to hit me that Davy either recognized me or he's just that nice of a guy. It could have been both. Now, could he have recognized me? Yes. I mean, I have that face. Love it or hate it. Once you see me, you kind of can't forget. You might have nightmares, but you can't forget. But man, first of all, he gives me an autograph on the freaking dollar. Then he gives me, he does this picture with me, and it turns out to be a pretty much almost off-the-wall skit. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I get to meet these two other guys. I cannot remember. I wish I could. I think one was Bobby Sherman. And I'm like, I was kind of flabbergasted, to be quite honest with you. But then, okay, a couple years later, and there's a concert. I can't remember if it was just Peter Tork or it was Peter Tork, Davy, and Mickey Dolenz. I really don't remember. But I ended up meeting the other two guys. Never met Mike Nesmith because he only toured back in the, every now and then with them after, the initial Monkees run of the 60s and stuff. So I didn't get to meet him, but I remember meeting Mickey Dolenz. And I liked Mickey. He was my favorite. Mickey was okay, but he seemed to have a cocky attitude, kind of like his character a wee bit. on the show. So I wasn't really impressed. I like the guy, I still do. Matter of fact, actually, we named our first boy cat. Well, no, our third boy cat, Mickey Bodine. That's his name, Mickey Bodine. I don't want to hear that phone. Well, let the phone ring. Just don't answer. Just ignore it. Ignore the phone, please. If it ain't Avon calling or my $100 million, tell them no. Anyway, that's okay.
She might keep it up, though.
Just ignore the phone call. Just put it on silent. I'm telling my peoples, my wonderful people out there, but that's all right. Things happen. So, I mean, I really like Mickey and everything, but he's no Davy Jones. He was no Davy Jones. He was not as nice. At least not that night. Now, I'm not saying he's not nice, but he wasn't that night. Peter Tork was kind of like, I liked how he treated us. He was cool. But Peter was not, how do I put it? And I don't want to say this in the wrong way. He was nice and polite, but he was kind of like, from what I remember, he's kind of like medium. You know, not mean or not, I mean, he's nice, but he was just, hi, how you doing, bye, kind of thing. But every time I would ever meet Davy, and I think I met him one more time, it's been a long time, but he was always nice. And I said to myself, boy, that's shocking. But I learned something even back then. And it was, I had been judging people. Now, I still like Mickey Dolenz, and I also like Peter. But, you know, things in life are mysterious. Things that have no logical reason happen. I never expected to even meet in my entire lifetime Davy Jones. I mean, that was the farthest thing from my mind. And yet it happened 2 or 3 times. Well, I met him 3 times because I met him 2 times separately at that event. I think I even saw him a 3rd time at that State College event, which was kind of weird because I said to Annette, I said, man, be careful. I don't want to see him again. I don't want him to think I'm a stalker. I was serious. I said that. I was like, let's stay away from him. I don't want him to think I'm a stalker, because I really didn't want him to think that, because I'm not. But he's a good man. I didn't say he was. I said he is. You see, he may be gone in bodily form, but his spirit will live on. And so when I come back to 2016, when I'm looking at my YouTube watch later list, is what it's actually called, watch later, and I'm scrolling down and I have all these things about marketing and how to do better in life and whatever. And I happen to come across that. You know, part of me didn't want to click on it because I know how I feel about the guy, because I know how nice he was to me. But I said, oh, I got to do it. It's called respect. So I did. And I tell you what, when they were speaking about him, I was okay. But when they started singing that song, oh my goodness, man, it hurt. I miss that guy. He's a good man. He's a good man. But I think there's a message here. It's not just the telling of what happened, but how we judge people, or we misjudge. You know, if you had told me I was going to meet Davy Jones when I was watching that series on the reruns on, I think it was Nickelodeon or whatever it was, TV Land or whatever, I would have looked at you like you were smoking something or you were on something. If you would have told me that my favorite monkey would eventually become Davy Jones, I would have said, yeah, well, I know you're smoking something. You're on some dope or something, buddy. Get off the dope. Because again, Mickey Dolenz was my favorite of the 4 guys. And when what happened, it was amazing. I mean, we're talking about a guy, and they're in their heyday. Let's remember, these guys were like the Beatles in their heyday. They were similar. So to meet Davy Jones in any time was a big deal. But I also learned something from that lady and her arrogant attitude. Or rather, she did. I did too, but she did too. Don't judge a person by the way they look. Because if we judge, we will be judged. That's not some kind of religious thing, even though it's in the religious books. I will say this to the spirit and soul of Davy Jones. The Davy Jones of the Monkees and other acting and musical fame. To the spirit and soul of Davy Jones, I miss you. I love you as a brother, a family member. More actually, not as a brother, no offense, but as a friend. I considered you in some kind of way, sort of like a friend after everything that happened. And I just hope your spirit is very happy because you made so many people happy. So many people. And you're a good man. And ladies and gentlemen, if you ever liked Davy Jones or any famous person, whether they were presidents or actors or singers, honor them. Just honor them. And maybe let them inspire you to greatness. We just recently lost a whole lot of good people, but that happens every day. The most famous right now, obviously, is we lost Prince. A lot of people are hurting. I really was never a fan of that young man. But now, ironically, I'm becoming one. Go figure. But I think there's something to learn in all of what I've said. With regards to the picture that I had and the dollar that I had, yeah, you better believe, and even the book, they made a monkey out of me. I would like to have those mementos. One reason is I can prove that I actually lived it without question. But in a larger sense, I don't need any physical remembrances. I lived it. I don't need pictures. I don't need books. I just need to know that that man was that nice. And there's one other thing about the State College and the concert deals that I find speaks volumes of Davy Jones from when they had that concert at Star Lake and other places. I find it really speaks volumes because those three men that day, they had to have signed at least 1,000 people's autograph. At least. I mean, it was huge. I don't know if it was both incidents, but it was a lot. And for what to have happened, I was blessed. I still am. But I missed the guy. And I would say to all the people that like Davy Jones or anyone, live your life inspired. And also live to inspire others. I will leave you with this. People wonder what's my end game. All these videos, long-winded, fast ones, it doesn't matter. Go into this business, go into that business side, blah, blah, blah. People don't understand what the real deal is. It comes down to this. I want to help render useful service, which is something that the late Andrew Carnegie has said. And I think Napoleon Hill, one of the two, because they were speaking in an interview. I want to have impact, and I want to help everyone. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter how it happens. But I want to do my part to help as many people and then have others help each other. So, all the Davy Jones fans out there and the Monkees fans, why don't you every single day, in some kind of way, help someone to honor your memories of whomever you love? And also, if there's a way to communicate with the famous people that are still alive that you admire, email them, text them, fax them, call them, snail mail them, whatever. Try to contact them through Facebook or whatever. But let them know what they mean. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. As for me, with regards to the businesses, and no, I'm not going to tell you to do this or that. For me, it's simple. I will have what I said. In fact, I already do. It's just a matter of time. But I want others to also have it. It is one thing to reach a mountain and have extreme success. And however you measure it, maybe it's wealth, maybe it's the access of, more money so that you can use the tool to get the treatments for medical issues or, to college or whatever. But I want to see abundance. And quite honestly, I believe in a higher power. And I personally owe it to God. And I owe it to the spirit of everybody that I love and care about, including Davy Jones. So I'm going to honor these men and women and my past family and friends, including my animals. I'm going to be a better person in spite of myself. And when I fail, I will get back up. You see, there's a song, Daydream Believer, by the Monkees. There's some things in there I like. Some lyrics. But I'll say this. It's time we make a decision to just love. And Davy didn't have to do what he did for me. He could have easily said, I'm sorry, that's it. That's a man of honor. That's a man of integrity. That man's spirit, I believe, is in heaven. And hey, you have a friend for eternity, buddy. You have a friend. I love all of you in a very spiritual way. And you may think I'm the worst person ever to come on YouTube. Longest-winded mofo in the history of the planet. But this mofo cares about you. This mofo will fight evil. And it's real. I'll do whatever it takes for our success. This mofo will do that for you. Because I know what people have done for me. And Davy Jones, when he introduced me to those two people, I cannot even tell you how shocked I was. Because quite honestly, I wasn't, and I don't mean this as a disrespect to the other two, because I couldn't remember who they really were. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't remember them, but I didn't really know their works that much. So quite honestly, being honest, I liked meeting them. They were cool. But when I got in that line, it was very simple. Essentially thank Davy for the first event. I wasn't even thinking about meeting those other guys. It was cool. But I never expected what happened to happen. And I think if you live life, just one last lesson. If you will live life with hope, with integrity, with a dream, and you won't quit no matter what happens, whether you're in extreme pain like I have been lately through, let's just say, problems, whether you're facing the worst financial cash flow issue of your life, whether people have betrayed you left and right, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Because if you will keep hope alive, just like Jesse Jackson said back in the 80s, if you will do that, I promise you, great things are going to happen. Great things already have, even if you don't recognize it. So it's your turn. It's your turn. I'm going to leave you one last thing. When I say that you and humanity really does matter, it does. And it came right in front of my face when I got to meet that gentleman who I think happened to be one of the best people I've ever met. Yeah, I missed the guy. And I am not ashamed to admit it. So, hey, we're the Monkees.